Hello everyone. The Junkyard Find 71 Torino Spring Special Edition is back. In past videos, you've seen us pull this from the junkyard, get it running, but we have a consistent low oil pressure problem. Today, we're going to pull the engine, inspect it, and change the oil pump, all in an attempt to restore oil pressure without a full engine rebuild. Come on along. This episode is sure to be interesting.
So we're going to get the Torino up on the lift and try to diagnose this problem.
So there's a lot of prep work before you can even think about pulling it. The hood has to come off, radiator out, radiator hose is out, disconnect the drive shaft, the transmission, the motor mounts, the electrical, pull the starter. It's a lot of work, but it's not hard. You know, if you're afraid of pulling an engine, none of this stuff is really hard. And we'll show you every step of the way.
So the first thing you're going to do is take the fan off.
We'll try to. Oh man, those bolts are tight. Whew. Oh, I'm gonna need a longer wrench for that. Look at that. Woo-hoo. Yeah. Fin shroud's out. I like the design. 2 bolts on top and just press fit on the bottom, so whoosh, comes right out. Thank you, Ford. Radiator hoses come next. Drain all this coolant out of here. Hopefully it doesn't make a mess. Then the transmission lines have to come off. Probably disconnect them here and at the transmission. And we start getting into the good stuff.
It just seems like there's so much more coming out than you remember putting in.
Well, there's a lot in there.
Yeah.
This hose isn't that bad in condition, really, for having sat all those years. I'm surprised.
So why do I still see coolant there?
Because the thermostat's there. So the thermostat is keeping the fluid from going down. The block is actually drained now, but there's a tiny bit on the thermostat. So I could push the thermostat down to let this go down. See that?
Oh, mm-hmm.
And that took care of that. So next up is the transmission cooler lines, which are these 2 lines here.
So I don't think we've ever worked on that. Can you explain that to me, how that works?
Yeah. So the transmission is essentially a big pump, an automatic transmission. And part of its function is to cool itself by pumping transmission fluid through the radiator to cool it. Now, it's not going into the water part of the radiator. There's a coiled tube in here inside the radiator that the water runs over to cool it. Now, sometimes, in rare cases, that tubing inside can rust through, which puts water in the transmission and transmission fluid in the coolant. And that ruins your transmission in no time. So the key is, don't run straight water. Even if you're living in Miami and you never get a freeze, running straight water will rust. It'll rust the block, it'll rust through your freeze plugs or your core plugs, and it will rust your radiator, particularly those fins. So if that happens, you're going to see discoloration in your coolant, and you might see pressure under the cap from the pump in the transmission. And if you see that, stop the engine immediately and investigate further.
That's interesting. Yeah, we had never talked about anything like that, so.
Yeah, well, typically.
I did not know that, but that whole water situation, because we do encounter a lot of people in the South, and
they run straight water.
Yeah.
And you know, coolant is not just coolant, it's also anti-rust. A lot of people think that coolant's just antifreeze. It's not, it's also anti-rust. It's a petroleum product.
Huh.
So that's what keeps it from rusting, and that's why straight water is not good.
That is so interesting. I'm glad I asked you that question.
Yep.
So can you look at those
inside.
Yeah.
I've never found a really good way to inspect the coolant, the sensor, except pressure. You just apply a little bit of air pressure on each side, and if it holds air pressure, then it's good.
Okay.
See these rubber inserts here? They hold the radiator from vibrating. It's important that this radiator doesn't vibrate, and these rubber things do that. So you got one on each side. They're exactly the same, so there's no right and left on this car anyway. All right, let's get this radiator out of here.
Yeah, there's a little bit coming out. All right. Let me get that up.
Yeah, let's clean that up. All right, throttle linkage is next. It just unsnaps from the carburetor, that little snap there. You just push it off. And then there's 2 bolts here that hold the bracket. I want to give a shout out to one of our viewers and a good friend of mine, Scotty from Texas. Scotty sent me that completely out of the blue. This light is a game changer. I use those little tiny Amazon lights and they last a couple of hours and they break, and this thing rules. This thing lasts for hours. And Scotty, thank you. This is a game changer that I'm basically going to use nearly every day for the rest of my life. I try to mark nearly everything I'm taking off. Maybe I'm a little too much on that, but like this right here, that looks a lot like a coil connection, so I'm just marking it temperature sensor because that's what it's for. Next up is the alternator. Technically, you don't have to pull this off, but it was already half off from when we did the heads. I never finished putting it back on, so I'm taking it off. And if you did leave it in, you got to disconnect all the wires. Another thing I like to do is video or photograph all the brackets. You just can't imagine how strange these look once they're all off and you got to put them back on.
Okay, next in line.
Yep, next in line, starter wires.
And then once we lift it up and get to disconnecting stuff underneath, you said you thought you'd just go ahead and take the starter out?
Yeah, just makes it easier, one less thing to take up clearance. Yeah, next up we're taking the heater hoses off. We took them off from the engine, but we're pulling them from the heater core just so they're not in the way. Because they're sticking out here, they're going to be in the way. So we're just going to loosen them up and pull them off.
Is this the last thing you have up top?
Yeah, this power steering pump is the last thing. I can't get at the hoses, so I'm going to disconnect the pump and then disconnect the hoses from it. It's tight, of course. There's the hoses. 1, 2. So if I disconnect them, I can pull this whole thing out of here. And that's the power steering pump.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's heavy too. So we've got a bit of a dilemma that I face a lot when pulling engines, and that is the engine lift doesn't have enough length to it to get over the carb, and I want to lift this by the carb base. So we've made the decision, we're going to take this off. This is super valuable to us because it's in really good shape. We're going to need it on the other car, and we don't want to damage it. And frankly, we have to because there just isn't enough room. We need this 14 inches to get the lift centered correctly over the carburetor. So this is going to come off, should be just a bunch of screws, and then this will come off and we'll take it from there.
Not as much dirt fell down from that one.
Yeah, I think it fell in my eyes instead.
Sometimes things don't come out the way you want them to, so you need to give them just a little bit of help. That was a lot of dirt. Oh my God.
try the cutting wheel from that side.
You go this way now that you can get in there?
Yeah.
Sometimes things don't go exactly as planned, right? That's part of the car business, isn't it, Richard?
Yep.
You just have to show who's boss.
So this stuff happens, you gotta roll with it. But I think I might be able to get this in there without damaging the fender or the balance panel. So let's see.
Yeah, about that only thing I really heard Richard complain about was he said a whole bunch of stuff fell down his jacket and onto his back. Whoa, you got it. Almost there.
That was not fun.
We need to put this in the car. We're gonna replace everything too. Because that's original.
Yep.
It's hard to find.
Originality's
It's hard to find those original parts like that.
Yeah, this was a very rare option, I think.
It even matches the Ford blue.
Yep.
See?
Ready?
Go for it. You got it.
Oh man, feels good. Victory feels good.
Wow. That was a lot of rust holding you in at the last minute.
Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive. You are triumphant.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh yeah. You got it. But watch that vintage blue bottle. So you're gonna put those back. So you've been trying to do that, so you remember where they go.
And it's just less stuff to keep track of.
That's very true. Richard and I are just both so anxious to get the things underneath disconnected so we can take it out, because we just want to see how much crap is in the oil pan and the filter and, you know, just the nasty, disgusting stuff.
So we gained about 14 inches here, so that should be enough.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look right here, you know.
Yeah, that's a significant amount of space.
It is.
Next up is the drive shaft. So that's disconnected here with 4 bolts, 2 here and 2 on the other side. Then you slide the drive shaft forward to get it out. Should be pretty straightforward, but this one, of course, since this car was in the dirt, it's got some cleaning that needs to be done just to get these nuts visible.
We have a guest in the shop. This is Lucy. She's the neighbor's dog. She comes over and hangs out every so often.
In order to move the drive shaft, I've got it in neutral, but we need to jack the wheels off the lift. One of the negatives of a 4-post lift is having to do this. But it's really no big deal. This bottle jack makes it pretty simple. All right, right now I'm taking the straps off for the U-joint that hold the U-joint to the rear differential. So I'm going to spin the U-joint around so that I get better access to get this thing out. That's what the strap looks like. You get 2 of those. So that's one. The drive shaft is now coming out. I have a plug here. They're going to put in the back of the transmission because it's going to make a mess if I don't. As soon as I pull this drive shaft out of the transmission, it's going to start leaking. So we're going to grab a drip tray and get back to you. So we're gonna slide it forward as best we can. Okay, and then pull this out. There it goes. But as you can see with the plug in place, the leak has stopped.
Nice.
Yeah. This is the U-joint. This one seems like it's still pretty good. You wrap tape around it this way because these two ends can pop off. So you just wrap tape around it to keep them from popping off. But this U-joint's good. You don't have to replace it. What has to happen is bolt here, bolt there needs to come out. And what also needs to happen is once it's down, I gotta take these out, drop the cross member, put a jack under it, and that will facilitate us getting it out.
So you decided that was going to get in the way, so you're just going to take it off?
Yeah, this is our custom exhaust system here. When they say 3-inch exhaust, it's not quite what they had in mind. So I'm disconnecting the transmission lines now that go up to the radiator.
So you moved on and
To the motor mounts.
motor mounts.
So I'm just gonna put a wrench on here, hold that side with another wrench, and boom. Most of these old V8s, the engine really is secured by 2 bolts that go through the motor mount and the frame at the same time. And that's it. So this bolt sits this way through the engine mount and the frame, and it holds everything in. There's a ton of play in this shift linkage here. That's why the column shift was so messed up. A lot of play there.
Yeah, so guys, just so you know, when we were moving the Torino down to the house, I told Richard, I'm like, I want to move it. It's my car. And I got in and I tried to move it and I said, do I have it in reverse? And Richard said, well, maybe. That doesn't work very well. It's like, so if I put some gas on and I'm not in reverse, I might hit your truck. Now we know why, don't we?
Yep.
This is the first time we've had the starter out.
In this car, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now check this out. We left the battery cable connected because of this weirdness. Look at this. This is completely corroded away. It's loose. I mean, I'm amazed this thing turned over. I don't remember any starter issues with this thing. All right, so I think I'm just going to loosen up these 2 cross member bolts before we get out from underneath. And that's going to be it. We're ready to pull this baby. When you're pulling an engine, there's always almost something you forget and you have to go back and do. And in this case, it's the speedo cable. We forgot to pull that out, so it's simple 1-bolt operation on this Ford. So I'm gonna take care of that now. Good morning. It's go time. Engine's completely disconnected. Now we have to try to get it out. Now I don't think this engine's been out of here since 1971. So it's probably gonna put up a fight. It's a little challenging because we have the car on a lift. And in order to get the engine stand under the lift, we had to raise the lift up. So the car is sitting a little bit high, but I know that this lift can go high enough because it took the engine out of that truck, which is even higher.
Alrighty.
All right, start pumping. Let's see what we get. Starting to come loose.
Okay.
Yep, coming up. Okay, stop right there. I'm gonna disconnect the cross member.
Okay. This is the first time I think we've taken an engine out of a car together, and engine and the transmission. So I'm kind of excited to learn some new things in this video. So that's always nice.
All right, just putting the transmission jack in place. Just when I'm disconnect the cross member, I don't want the transmission, the rear of the transmission to come crashing down. So I'm just gonna put this jack under it. It's not strictly necessary, but trying to be cautious. Okay, beautiful so far. Hold on, right there. beautiful so far. Are we past the motor mounts? Almost. Almost, so that's great. That's great. This side is past the motor mounts. Beautiful. Okay.
Stop?
Yep.
Okay.
I think now we need to pull this way. Yeah, we're clear of both motor mounts, so let's try to pull this way. Just watch the engine.
Yeah.
Is it coming forward?
Yeah.
Hold it.
You okay?
I believe so.
Okay. Is that the transmission fluid coming out?
Is there some?
Yeah.
Where?
In front of the...
Oh yeah, it's coming out the speedometer cable hole. Okay, let's pull it forward. Okay, now if this guy will go up another 5 inches, we're gonna clear it.
Do you think it will?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
easily. Okay.
Oh, wow, look at that. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Crazy pull.
Yeah.
Do I need to go up more for that, to clear that? This is intimidating when you look at it like this. It really is.
I guess if it's your first time, which this is, right?
Yeah. I don't think you might be able to get it. Is it hard to pull out because of the weight?
No. Nope, not at all.
Does that make for a good video? I'm sure you guys want to see it. Oh. Bam.
That was
Okay.
way easier than I thought.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Wow.
Yeah, look at these awesome exhaust manifolds for the Cleveland. Practically headers. All right, we are going to pull the pan next. Yes, we do not have this on a stand. I'm aware of that. I really don't want to disconnect the transmission unless we have to. And we're not under this. It's secured, but we're not under it, so we're not in any danger here. So, bunch of pan bolts to come off, then we're gonna hit the pan with a soft hammer. It should pop right off, and then the oil pump pickup, we're hoping, is very clogged.
So Richard, do you remember that you had a tool that you bought like 4 years ago?
Yeah. That'll help my arms a little bit here, because there's 10 bolts per side on this thing. It works. It's pretty slow, but it works. And it makes a pro noise. We've got all the bolts off, so I'm just going to gently hit it and it should pop. I may have to stick a screwdriver in here, but let's see.
Ooh, what lies beneath? This is the part I've been waiting for.
Oh, there's a lot of junk in there. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, I don't want to put these gloves in that. Look at that junk.
Do you want some orange gloves? Let me get you some orange gloves real quick.
All right.
You ready?
Oh, this is very deep.
Oh, wow. It
What's
looks
the
like
light?
parts of a tree.
Yeah, it does. It does. These aren't engine parts.
What is that
Well,
thing right
what's
there?
this?
Yeah. What is that?
These are
That doesn't
the
look
valve seals, the rubber valve seals.
good. The ones that broke off?
Yeah. So there's valve seals in here. There's twigs. Let's grab a magnet and see how much of this is magnetic. I'm worried about that piece right there. Yeah, none of this is magnetic. None of it.
Nope. That seems to be magnetic.
Maybe slightly. Let's stick it right in there and see. Yeah, That's a little concerning. Those are magnetic.
Can you put those to the
shavings.
side so we can... Anything else?
Not really.
Go around, like in there.
No.
Just that one little piece?
Yeah. Looks like it. Looks like it. Oh,
No,
yes.
no.
Well, it's more, I think it's so gooey it's sticking rather than it being magnetic. Right? It's just
Well, here's
gooey.
a question. Could we like take all that out and put it on the cardboard and then do it from the cardboard? Because that way you wouldn't
We
be...
could. But let's look at the pickup now.
What is that thing? A twig?
Yeah. And the pickup has some things going on. For sure.
Can you get that out?
The pickup, yeah. Yeah. It's all going to come out when we pull the oil pump. Yep. There's your timing chain. Oh boy.
That doesn't look good at
Oh
all.
no, that's super loose. Whoa.
Is that the thing hanging down right there? What is that?
What?
Oh, that was a
That's
gasket. Oh, okay.
That's gasket, and that's interesting because that's not factory. So this oil pan's been off before.
So,
But
oh, there's the
this
timing chain. I see
chain
it.
is shot. Shot. Wow. Wow. Well, this is not looking good. Looking like a full rebuild is in order.
I can hear it from here.
Yeah, I mean, that's really bad. That top gear is probably pretty worn.
Let me get a view from this side. Oh, that's much better.
Let's see all that slack.
Not with your finger there.
Well, the finger's what's hitting it.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be like that. All right, let's see what else we got going on in here. It's pretty clean. Ooh, did I just see? Oh boy.
What is that?
Yeah, we got
Oh, that's
movement in the
movement.
rod. Yep, that's not good. This engine's had it. It's had it. Crap. Oh man.
What are you checking for?
Just see if it had crazy amounts of end play, which it doesn't. All right, we got a decision to make here. Do we even bother with this anymore? We ought to have ordered the oil pump. But this is, this chain has got to go. And if we're going to dig into it that much, this doesn't seem worth it to me.
My job, get the oil pan cleaned and the gasket scraped off. Okay, so I took all the stuff that was at the bottom out by hand and put it here. I thought it would be easier. Go over. Let's see what actually, sticks. Put that over here. Let's see if it'll pick it up again after I'm done. And if you remember in the first video, I said, I see a bug. It looks like a bug. There was a bug. Okay, so now let's see. Does it actually pick that up like rust? I think it may have a couple little pieces like that one. Okay, so I'm going to say that the amount, not rust, but metal, you know what I meant. The amount of metal in there, not as much as I probably thought. So we're going to take the oil pump off.
Yep, it's nearly off. It's easy on these, just 2 bolts that are right in front of you. And that's the drive, the oil pump drive, which looks okay. It's certainly worn. Been in here a while, but it looks okay. And here's the pump.
Huh. Can you look inside of it?
Yeah, we can take it apart.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just take the gears apart and inspect them because at this point, The chances of us reusing that engine as is are pretty low. We'd have to discover some serious damage in here to make me think that swapping an oil pump would help us. There's a lot of scratching in here.
There is a lot of scratching. I can see
Not
down through
supposed to be any.
the sides of the cylinder,
Yeah.
at least that one pretty well. I don't see
Yeah,
anything.
there's a lot of scratching in here, and there's not supposed to be any.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's lots of scratching.
Oh,
there.
look at the sides of it.
Well, the sides are
Are they
what's
supposed to
super
be like
important.
that?
They're not supposed to be. Oh boy, yeah, they're bad.
Mm.
Let me wipe that clean.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, I can see it. That's
You
why I
can.
asked you if the sides are supposed to be scratched
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
really bad.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, this pump has had a lot of crap pumped through it. That's bad. Let's check this gear.
Well, the sides of the wall right here.
Yeah,
really
gotta
bad.
be really.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. This pump is shot.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, that is. Oh, my gosh.
I mean, it's way deeper than
I
my
can
fingerprint.
I can see it. I can see it with the camera.
It drags on my
It's that
fingernail
bad.
with a glove on.
Yeah. Oh, man.
What's this look like in
On
here?
the sides, it's really bad.
Oh wow. Well, that gives me a little hope. This is shot. This is completely shot.
So let me ask you, and I know sometimes a few people get mad when I ask questions, but a lot of people have said they love when I ask questions. So the scratching, is that from debris getting in there, and then as it turns around, it's scratching everything?
That's
So
exactly what it's from.
so that's not the type of scratch that you can do in like a day or a week.
Oh, no.
That has to go on
Well-
for a while.
Scratching can occur pretty fast.
But where was that one piece? Not that piece, but the other piece. Yeah, that.
I mean, it's just completely.
That doesn't look like that
no,
happened in a
no.
week.
No, this is just, it's worn out
So then, okay, here's my next question.
really badly.
And you probably are going to say, I don't know, it depends. How would and what would get in there that would go through like that?
Dirt through the dipstick hole if the dipstick's loose, or through the PCV hole, or people often disconnect the air breather and they leave the pipe open to the valve cover, and oil and dirt. I mean, engines get dirty. They get dirt in the oil. They get gas in the oil. They get lots of contaminants in the oil. It's one of the reasons you change the oil. It's not just because the oil gets beat up. It gets dirty.
Okay, so I'm interested now. You
look
said
at
we could see in that pipe too.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Let's look at this end plate, because this also is critical. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's real bad. Wow. These scratches aren't quite as deep, but they're not supposed to be there at all. So this pump has had it. Well, that gives me a little hope. Maybe we could get away with a timing chain and an oil pump.
You gonna try to screw that off?
Yeah, it's you got to be super careful with it. Otherwise, we'll be buying a new one. This is all pretty thin steel right here. It screws in to the pump, and it's a type of fit where the more you tighten it, the tighter it gets. So this is pretty tight.
Is it as tight as that jar I asked you to open the other night?
Tighter, probably.
You had a tough time getting that jar open, and I told him, I'm like, there's no way I was ever gonna get that open. Why do you think it's so tight?
Because you got to make sure that oil doesn't leak by it. This is all suction. It's got to be completely airtight. It's all suction. That's why those grooves make such a big difference. Every groove is a loss of suction. So it's no wonder that this oil pump was terrible.
Yeah.
It may turn out that we put a new oil pump and we got great oil pressure. We changed that timing chain, and we may get 10, 20,000 miles out of it.
Wow. Huh.
It's not coming off. Ow. What in the world?
It was my magic.
Yeah, I mean, there you go, right? Christina made a suggestion that I whack the base with a hammer. It loosened it right out.
But I can't take the credit for that, because every suggestion I give you, you have shown me over the last 3.5 years. So my mind just goes through my mental Rolodex.
Well, I wouldn't have thought of that.
That's because you got 100 other things on your mind.
Ooh, it's hot.
I see some
bad.
smoke. No.
Yeah, because it's still pretty hot. But
No.
there's not huge amounts of crap coming out of there. So I think the tube was okay, but now that it's getting clearer here, you can see there's quite a bit of stuff in there that's not good for an engine. All right, next up, let's check the passageway in the block. I don't see any issues there. So we're inspecting the cam. See that lobe?
Yeah.
It's pretty
I
worn.
hope this will focus for them. Sometimes camera on camera doesn't focus that well, but
It's pretty worn.
right there, it is bad.
So this engine, it's just a worn out engine, is what it is. It doesn't make a ton of noise. It runs good, but it's worn out. So at this point, we've got two choices. Throw an oil pump in and see if we can build pressure. We've already bought the oil pump, so I'm kind of motivated to do that. If nothing else, we'll learn from it.
Yeah.
And see if we'll build pressure by hand, right? Spinning the oil pump shaft with a drill. And if we can, that teaches us a lot that the oil pump was bad. And if we can get a lot of pressure out of it, I'm inclined to change the timing chain and put it back in. You know, we may get a few thousand miles out of it.
Yeah.
I think we definitely get a
That's
few
all I need.
thousand miles out of it with a timing chain.
That could last me years.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so I've got that cleaned up, and Richard is working on getting the gasket off of the underside.
Gasket's off, just cleaning up the junk around the starter. Gasket surface is clean. Oil pump's going in next, and it's filthy around here. There's really no way around it with an old engine like this. It just gets filthy. That's why engine rebuilders, the first thing they do is hot tank the engine and clean it. Okay, so just like put your finger there where mine is. Yeah. No, you can't hold it down there. That's where the pump's going.
okay.
Right like that. That's what you got to do.
Okay, got it.
And lift your arm up. There you go. Yeah, you got it. You got it. That is to go into here. Okay, let me tighten these up. Now we'll move on to the pan.
Yep. Hopefully before the storm hits.
So these gaskets fit terrible. The only way to get them to work is I'm going to have to glue them in place. They fit awful, and I'll show you what I mean. So we're lined up here, 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 and here. And this one, it wants to walk out this way. So I'm going to have to put bolts in to hold it while it glues down, because it's so far off right there. The holes line up, but the arc of the gasket is wrong. But it's good practice to do this anyway, to put the bolts in. Then you know when you get it up in there, everything's going to be lined up. Just leave it like that and let the glue set.
And this is your favorite stuff. You love this stuff.
This stuff is very, very, very old. But I bought some new stuff and it's crap. I used it on Lula. You'll see it in an upcoming video. And the stuff I left for a week and it still wasn't dry. And I put it on thin like this, you know. It should dry in 5 minutes. A week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share something I was thinking about. As you guys can see, our shop is a complete and utter disaster. We work on one project and then we are out of town helping a viewer with their car, and then we come home and have to start another project. And technically we never really got situated when we moved in a year ago. So we were thinking about skipping a video for the Monday after Easter because we were going to be out of town visiting my girls and grandsons. But how many of you would be interested in seeing us get the shop together? We have been purchasing things to really kind of decorate it super cool for the last year and to get it organized. And I mean, it's just like, you know, someone made us this absolutely cool sign and we have never had time to hang it outside the shop. So I don't know, just let us know if that would be of any interest to you guys. And not only that, but Richard, there's a lot of stuff you were gonna probably put up for sale, and that might be pretty cool if somebody saw some stuff that they might need for their car that you happen to have, and they could reach out as well. So based on what you guys say, we'll either do that and share it with you or not. You'll just be surprised when in a video you're like, wow, the shop looks fantastic. So let us know your thoughts.
Oil pan's on. We're adding oil. Next step is pull the distributor and spin the oil pump, see if we get pressure. It's a big moment. We've worked pretty much all day for this. If it builds oil pressure, there's a party at my house, at our house tonight.
That's
If it doesn't, there's a funeral at our house tonight. Yeah, that's full. Perfectly full. Okay, moment of truth. We got this all taped up so no parts fall inside. Going to engage the oil pump and start to spin.
Yep, it's moving.
What do you got?
Coming on 15. Holding steady there.
That's all?
I'll move it a little bit more. It's pretty much holding steady. I don't see any oil coming out here either.
No, I don't either.
Oh, there's some more. It starts to drip right there. See it?
Okay.
Okay.
But, dripping from one is not that great. But we did have
15.
15. Let's try it again. This is sounding good.
Yeah.
That's the only one?
So far.
There's some. That one's getting some.
Well, I mean, there's some here, but I didn't know if that could be from before.
Yeah. But no, those two, definitely.
This is
How about
not
this side?
moving past 15. I do see some more
Yep.
down in there. This might actually have a little more than the other side.
These first couple were a real problem before.
They were.
So let's see if we're getting any here.
Okay.
I don't see anything.
No. I mean, there is some oil in the base and at the top, but I don't see a drip like I saw on the other side.
All right, let's try a different drill. Because this drill doesn't go very fast.
It doesn't. You're right. Richard, where'd you get that one?
Well, I've had this one since the 90s.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's a nice drill, but the bearing in the chuck is worn.
Okay. Did you test your tape? Is it still strong?
Yeah.
So I have actually taken the oil that had accumulated in the lifters because I just wanted to know if...
In the rockers.
In the rockers, sorry. Why do I keep saying that? A long day. In the rockers. So now I get to watch and see if that fills up.
Try this one.
Okay.
That's 15?
Yeah, actually, might be a little lower. No, it's about the same. Still oil here, oil starting to come out there. You see the other side
The
because
other
I
side
cleaned
doesn't
that one
have
as
any?
well. None.
I don't believe so.
Is that no?
That one's got some.
Yeah. Oh, actually, that one has some. That one, and that has a little. Cause I dried all those.
This one has some? Because that's always been dry, these two.
I dried them. So something came a little bit came out of there.
All right, so
But I still don't think that's
Let's
as fast as...
let's swap gauges.
So we were testing to see if oil will come out of...
There's just
The
so much
line.
air in this line. It bothers me.
It's working its way. Let's see. It's almost there. Oh. You didn't want to see if it actually came out?
No, the drill let go again.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No, I mean, it was almost there.
I know.
Almost there. Yeah, I want oil to come out. I want to get all the air out of that line.
Let's see if we can get oil out of the line. Oh, here we go.
Yeah?
Yeah. And will we get any oil? It's going so slow right there. Did you see that?
Is there anything coming out of the rockets?
No, not that I can see. Oh, wait. There's some oil. Is it going to come out? A tiny
The rockets,
drip.
though.
I know, but I'm just saying I finally got a drip out there. I did not see any drip here. And I did finally get a drip or two right there.
All right, where's the gauge?
Right here. If it's dripping that slow, is that
That's not
enough?
good. No.
I didn't
No.
think so.
No, it should be screaming out of there.
So you have changed the gauge.
Yeah.
You did say it went on kind of funky. So
Yeah, I mean, this gauge works, I know, but it didn't seem to go on there, right?
you know, I think when we're really tired, we get a little loopy.
Well, this is what, this is what today was about, figuring
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Hovering close to 20. It's just kind of hovering close to 20.
Is
But
it
I don't
20 or
feel.
is it 5?
Well, I mean, it's like right before you get to that line right there.
Well, 20 is
But
good.
I don't feel like it started at 0.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this guy oils good, doesn't it?
Yeah, if we just needed one, we'd be sad.
These two, actually.
You want to try it again
This
so you can
doesn't-
see it?
No, you're right. It's not at 0 to start. No, we've done it enough.
Okay, well, let's go in. I'll make dinner and we'll discuss what we're going to do.
We'll discuss what kind of explosives we use for this.
I was thinking sledgehammer, but okay.
I'll take either.
Yeah, maybe both.
So, this means we need to win that auction.
For a new engine.
Yeah.
Or we could put a 216 in there. People would be shocked.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
It kind of would be funny.
That would be
People at home
hilarious.
are like,
235?
no. Yeah.
Probably wouldn't fit. But
You know, I'd be like, whoo, what you got under there? A 216 from a 51 Chevy or a 52 Chevy. Yeah, we're getting loopy. All right, we need to get some dinner.
this engine is just too worn out to build oil pressure. So we've got some decisions to make. 1, we could rebuild this 351C and swap it back in. Little expensive and super time consuming given what our schedule looks like. 2, we could swap it with the already running engine from the Ford family. 351 Windsor, we'll never find a Cleveland. 460, 429, even a 302. That's quick, not too expensive. 3, rebuild this 351C as a roller engine. That's probably the best option given the problems today with flat tappet cams, but that's going to be super expensive and a little bit time consuming. What would you do? We would like to hear your opinions in the comments below. If you like this video, consider hitting the like button and consider subscribing. It helps us out a lot. Also, check out our merchandise at WTRmerch.com. You might see something there you like. Thank you so much for watching today. We really hope you enjoyed this video. Until we meet again, have a great day.
All right.
Okay.
New drill.
Yeah, that drill was a little slow, admittedly.
This is actually a fun experiment.
Yeah, it's an experiment.
What happened?
Something's happening.
Yeah.
Slide.
Oh.
This is a flea market drill. And I thought, you know, for $10, it's going to be a good drill. And I've had nothing but trouble with it. Now I know why I didn't duck at a flea market.
That will be for sale in our next video.
Okay, let's try that. What do we got?
About the same. Did it come undone again?
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be able to use that.
This drill's going in the trash.
Are you sure? Sell it to someone. It's $2. Contact us. $2.